believed in a new kind of horror. The horror of the children.
The best of them all.
Something you wouldn't dare to imagine has happened to the children. Something beyond your worst fears.
Jenny. Jenny, darling, is that you?
Mama.
Something evil is happening, and it's happening inside the children.
I said to stop it. Cut it out. Stop it.
Please don't. Damn it, the phone's dead. Have you both gone mad? He was shooting the children.
The children will take you one step beyond horror to sheer terror.
Go! To the house! Get out of here! Go!
Something terrifying has happened to the children. Pray you never meet them.
Well, hey there, you awesome bipeds, quadrupeds, and even the occasional dinosaurs. It is I, Little Wolf, and welcome to my den. Go ahead and come on in, but please wipe your paws before entering. And go ahead and take a seat by the fire. The cauldron is bubbling, so you can have your choice of tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. But you know, maybe with it being summer now, just about, I might just kind of get rid of the cauldron for a little bit, replace it with the ice machine, because I am drinking iced coffee right now, and that really is good. I do have iced tea that I like to go to, and I have had this interesting boba, where they made a hot chocolate boba, and that was really good, and I kind of want to try that one again. So yeah, we can have, ooh, yay, there's the laundry getting done. I'm so happy about that. Slowly getting things worked out the way we need to and picked up around the den. So happy about that. Got a bunch of stuff done today. And I do want to wish all of you out there a happy Friday the 13th, except for some of the people on the other side of the world where it's Saturday the 14th, where they have another movie just for that. But I am going to be watching a bunch of the Jason movies today. I'm not sure if I'll make it through all of them. I do have the first one digitally. Actually, I do have a bunch of them digitally in my Google Play, but I also found a collection of all the DVDs, so I'm probably going to pick my favorite ones from that. I'm going to watch 1, definitely. I'll probably watch 4, 6, and 7. I do kind of like 5, even though people don't really like 5. But I grew up with that one on VHS, so it was one of those ones where if I felt like watching one, it was definitely fun, and it had some interesting deaths in that one, so it has that. It doesn't have the actual, real Jason, but oh well. It's still a fun, weird movie. It's almost up there with like the number 3 of Halloween. But I'm not going to be really talking about those movies today. Last night I watched this really obscure movie from 1980, and it's called The Children. And if I can, I'll probably try and show a trailer of that, maybe before this runs or sometime around here. Um, it was such a weird movie, and it would really be up kind of my alley when you kind of read the synopsis of what it's about. And it says here that A nuclear power plant leak turns a busload of kids into murderous atomic zombies with black fingernails. Um, it's definitely I love zombie movies. Nuclear things kind of happening. That's always kind of fun. You know, you kind of have things from like the Trauma movies and Traumaville with like Nukem High and the Toxic Avenger and things like that. And you get zombies, you kind of mix it. You know, I've seen ones where they kind of do that with like redneck zombies. And I think also Hide and Creep kind of had a thing with that, with kind of nuclear waste or something like that. But this one is just a bit weirder. Like at the beginning of it, you get these two guys, and in the credits, they're just known as Hard Hat Jim and Hard Hat Slim. And they're working at this nuclear plant, and they notice that there is going to be there's like low pressure in some of the readings of something, and they're walking downstairs like they just got done like looking at a bunch of stuff, and it's getting close to quitting time, and they can't really figure out what's going on with the pressure thing. So one's saying, you know, maybe we should go back and recheck things and figure out what's going on. And the other one's like, no, man, I mean, it's quitting time. And, you know, they're not going to give us overtime. It's like, oh my gosh. It kind of reminds me of like the weird things that happen in like the, seconds before disaster. And like a lot of times when you figure out what happens there, it's because they get rid of the maintenance people for essential things, and so those things start breaking down. And these two just kind of don't really care, and they just leave. They lock up and leave, and as they're leaving, there's a pipe shown that's kind of dripping stuff, and next thing you know, you see a bus full of kids, and like some of them are getting dropped off at one place. The kids are singing different songs like 99 Balls of Beer on the Wall for some reason. It's the 80s after all, so why not? There's a couple other songs that they sing that I don't really know. There's one about liking the bus driver and how great of a guy he is, and I guess the bus driver is told to be kind of like a big kid himself, so he's kind of like a Lenny character, maybe. Um, but they get done dropping off some kids, and then they're turning into a place where there's a sign that says, I think it's Raven's Back or Ravenback or something like that. And it's like 3 miles away. And as the bus is driving, like in the trailer, it shows there's a big plume of smoke. And next thing you know, the sheriff of the town, let's see here, Sheriff Hart, finds the bus empty, and he calls it into um, basically the store manager Molly, and she kind of relays messages to different people throughout the town if needed, and he lets her know what happened, and he gets a hold of his deputy, who is kind of sitting with the sister of one of the kids on the bus, and she's like a very cute girl and kind of hot, blonde, you know, and he's just flirting with her. She's running like a fruit stand or like a vegetable stand and things like that, trying to make money doing that. And it's like a small rural area, so yeah, that kind of thing happens. Um, but since the kids go missing, um, they call in the deputy, and he tells them, you know, you gotta go set up a blockade or over in the town area or leading into Ravenback, and just keep people from coming in that don't live here, let the people that live here stay here, nobody leave. Oh my lord, just so much weirdness happens in this movie, and that's very typical of like 80s movies where there's really no rhyme or reason to what happens, and that really happens in this one. Because, yeah, they set up a blockade, and you get these other two guys. Let's see here. Did I write down their names? Doo-doo-doo. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm going through my notes here. You get Hank and Frank, and they're kind of poachers, and they're trying to sell these birds to Molly. And the sheriff gets in there, and he's letting them know, hey, I need some deputies, and they're trying to sell birds they just shot illegally to Molly. And they're just like, oh, oh, hey, sheriff, what's going on? I'm basically going to tell you how this movie goes because it's just so crazy. Um, and so he says, hey, I need a couple of deputies to go help out Harry, who's already been sent out there, instead of hanging out with his girlfriend. He goes out to set that up. The two guys give the ducks or birds to Molly, and they're just so happy to not be in trouble for shooting birds illegally. They get told they're going to be paid about $40 a day for being deputized and to just go out there and help out Harry, keep people out, let the other people stay in town. And they get even weirder as it happens. Oh my gosh. Uh, just so much weirdness happens in this movie. Later on, uh, they're out there at the blockade, and the two deputies are just kind of drinking and drunk, and the one girl comes out to go see her boyfriend. She's trying to get him to kiss her. She doesn't want to. And the like two other deputies are just being kind of sleazy guys trying to go, oh, look at her rear end and everything else. Oh, look at her. She's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And since the deputy is not really kissing her and not wanting to do that since he's working, she decides she's just gonna leave. She gets on her bike. She's wearing shorts really tight, kind of a see-through kind of shirt, and I'm not sure. She's just kind of this weird kind of farmer's daughter ish stereotype back then, and I think she kind of fits it a bit. But as she leaves, the two other sleazy guys are asking, hey, did you get with her? Have you slept with her? And he's like, oh man, I'm not gonna tell you guys that kind of thing. Good lord. And they're like, well, if you haven't yet, we'll do it for you. And it's like, we'll do it for you. It's like, dude, I'm looking at the movie, and I'm thinking this girl is probably barely 18, if that, at the earliest, maybe 16. I don't know. It's very hard to gauge. But yeah, it's like, good lord, really? And it shows how kind of creepy-ish the 80s were. And they're still kind of creepy like that in movies, but just not as openly as it. Oh, good lord. And later on, um, oh lord, just so much happens in this movie, and I can't really give it all away. But what I can tell you is, yes, these kids really do kind of get these weird radioactive black nails, and for some reason, there's like only five of them that are actually these weird creatures, and they're kind of zombies-ish. I'm not really sure because they don't really show exactly what happens to them, so I'll kind of call them zombies, but it's almost like kind of how the 28 days later are kind of zombies, but they're like scientifically, medically changed with whatever that serum was, and it gets in their blood. And I guess like whatever the smoke was that got into them could have unalived them, and they came back to life. But like whenever they come back to life, they go up and they hug a person, and the person starts smoking and then falls over, and they kind of look like the one ex-boyfriend and Blade who's always like, oh, do you ever think of what if we got back together? That guy. He kind of becomes like they die, of course, but they look like they're a mixture between like him and like a zombie. And I kind of kept expecting them to come back and come to life and do something, but they don't. Um, you also get two parents that are involved, and see here, I did put them down too. You get John Fremont and Kathy Fremont, and their daughter Janet, I think, is one of the ones that's missing in it too. And the one lady is extremely pregnant, and typical 80s fashion at some point, they show her smoking a cigarette because, like back then, it really wasn't. I'm not sure how known, like, the effects of secondhand smoke, or I'm not even sure if it's really secondhand smoke at that point with a pregnancy, but it wasn't all the way known the effects of it, I don't think. They were just starting to learn or lobby or something for it, so it wasn't really that frowned upon. So, good lord, she's smoking. They're worried about their daughter who's missing in this group. And I'm not even sure how big this town is, but like the dad winds up running around with the sheriff. They say that they had found um, Deputy Harry finds the kids at some point, says he finds them, and then like they hug him kind of off screen. You don't see later on. The sheriff finds out that Harry had found him, so he drives over with the dad, also looking for the kids, and they find Harry, and he's all melted and everything else. And so they rush over to where Molly is, since she's the kind of go-between person on the CB radios and things, all of this. Um, and I can attest to like different places just kind of running on CBs. I grew up in kind of a trailer park in Florida, and a lot of the places around there had CB radios. Um, my dad put one in the store, and I kind of had one in the trailer where we were at, so I could talk to him on the radio instead of calling, because like calling I think was like 25 cents a call or something like that. It was odd back then because like telephone calls were charged so much differently. It's so weird if you look into phone calls and how the differences have changed and how they're done. Oh my lord. Oh, I'm sorry I'm getting sidetracked though. But here's another craziness of the 80s. They find the deputy. They run to Molly's. Her place is closed. she runs like a store that has like liquor, candy, blah blah blah, everything else in there. And like I said, the store where my dad worked in that trailer park had that too. And so they run over to Molly's, they're banging on her door, and he's like, "It's the sheriff, let me in." And the one dad just kind of runs in, tells Molly, "I'm gonna grab one of the guns." She has a gun rack. He just grabs one of the guns off the rack and says, "I'm gonna grab a couple cases of ammo." Just does it. And then just walks out of the store to go put it in the car that they're in. And the sheriff tells her, "We found the deputy unalive and everything else, and so we're gonna run around and check all these other places. And so, just kind of lock up. I'm gonna grab another box of ammo too." And he just leaves. And oh my lord, just so much craziness ensues. Um, they wind up like all at the Fremont house, I think, and all the other kids are out there, and just I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know how many adults are left in the town at the end of it. Like the sheriff is just kind of calling out on the CB radio to Ravenback or Ravensback, how many is anybody out there? And like something happens there too, and just so much craziness happens in it. Like with the running in and just grabbing the ammo, grabbing the gun, all of this, the pregnant mom smoking. And I know this is such a really crazy rehash of the movie, but it is so. If you go back and watch a lot of the early 80s movies, there are so many of them where it's just like, why did this happen, and why did the kids become like these weird radioactive holding vessels? And it didn't really, it changed the appearance of their skin, yes, but they didn't become this melted weird form like the adults do when they hug them. I'm not really too sure exactly how it all ends. um, Kind of has a weird apocalyptic feel to it. Oh my lord. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it again. I was talking to my wife as a lot of these different things were happening and the different craziness, and she was like, "Yeah, no, thank you. I think I'm gonna pass on this one," because I do tell her about different ones where later on down the road I'm gonna show them to her, and there's different ones we watched together where I want to do review of it and maybe write down her thoughts or record her saying her thoughts of what happened. But there are definitely going to be ones where I'm going to watch, and I definitely know she's not going to watch them. She picked out some weird ones. She picked out a Red Sonja one that was kind of fun that I want to find again. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch this one with her. I've watched Return of the Living Dead with her. I think I've watched Night of the Living Dead with her, and that's definitely my favorite. I want to watch it with her again later and get her thoughts on that one again too. I kind of want to redo my reviews of Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead. I did them all in one thing in kind of a rushed review, so I kind of want to redo them and give them kind of the proper love that each one kind of deserves, especially with them being like number one and number two of my favorite horror movies. But this movie is just so crazy with not really telling you why the kids are radioactive, why they're going back and hugging their family, whereas you have like Children of the Corn where it tells you there's this being of he who walks behind the rows, and he's kind of leading whoever's leading the kids and everything like that. There's like even this old obscure one called like the Devil Times Five, where there's five kids kind of going around and kind of doing the same type of thing, but they're just kind of delinquent kids. They're just kind of going around and, unaliving adults and things like that. But they kind of have their weird reasons of why it happens. And this one, it really doesn't. And I kind of not sure if I want to watch it again. I kind of do, just to see some of the weird, crazy 80s-ness of it all. Um, but I do kind of recommend you see it just for a weird craziness. If you want to have WTF moments of, like, um, weird zombie kids going after adults, the adults attacking the kids, nothing really affecting the kids. Later on, finding out what actually does stop them, and it's kind of stupid. I'm not going to give that away. I forget if the trailer does or not. But like I said, I hope you guys do enjoy this. There's a few more I want to do. I looked up, since I'm a March 82 baby, I looked up what weird movies came out that year in horror. And apparently there was one called Parasite, and it's from Charles Band, and that means it's either gonna be trash or fun trash. There's no real in between with that, and it's an early Demi Moore one, so that's gonna be even more interesting. Kind of started watching it last night, but I was starting to get tired because my meds were starting to kick in. So I'm just going to have to watch that again here in a little bit. And since it came out in the same month I came out, I just kind of think it'll be fun to go back and watch that one, with the movie, to take away my persona for a moment, to watch a movie that's the same age as me. I mean, that's just so cool to be a 82 baby and to have this movie Parasite from 1982 come out. And I hear it's terrible. And it's Charles Band, so it's definitely gonna be either terribly good or just terrible. So I hope to do that one. And I have many more to do. Oh, I love doing this. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I know I ramble and go off on tangents and forget where I am, and I'm sorry about that. It's just kind of weird how my brain works sometimes. It's another reason why I think I kind of should script out my things, but this one I just kind of felt like I should put down and see if I can put out there and just do an old review again and see how it goes. I want to have fun with my channel again and talk about old movies and talk about old shows or even current shows. Where the wife and I are going through the Trailer Park Boys, and I think we watched the first three seasons so far. And we also watched, I think, the first season of Matlock, so that'd be kind of fun to go through. But I really want to go through and watch a bunch of these older movies I have and a bunch of movies I have in my, um just in my libraries. I have a whole bunch in my DVDs, I have a bunch in my digital, I have a bunch in my Google Play. So I think it'd be fun to go through and maybe try and do maybe 15, 20 half hour, reviews of movies and throw in my couple cents here and there. Um, but I hope you guys enjoy this. I did have fun watching the movie. It's so hard and crazy to explain it. I hope I can show the trailer and not be in trouble with it. And I will, I know you can find this movie, I think, on YouTube, which is where I found it, so you can watch it there. So if you can, look it up. It's a weird movie. obscure. It's definitely of the 80s where, yeah, just horror happens. Why? I don't know. Oh, I love you, bipeds, quadrupeds, and even the occasional dinosaurs so much. And thank you for all your support through all of this. And I hope you guys enjoy your Friday the 13th. And I hope you guys watch your hockey movies and just enjoy that. I'm definitely going to be doing that. Um, but if you guys want to help out even more, remember if you go out, please remember to mask up if you can. That'll keep you and your family safe. And also, if you haven't done it yet, please go out and get your vaccinations or your booster shots because that'll keep you and your family even safer and that'll keep strangers even safer. And also, if you can, please try and social distance when you're out there, just a little bit. We went over to we went to a grocery store the other day, and there were just so many people around us. I had to put on Ender's Game and watch that for a bit, and distract myself with that. So that helped a lot, but good lord, it's really aggravating and anxiety building when I see how many people are just so close together. Ah, that will help you and your family and strangers stay safer if you do that. And we do have one here in the den that if you do all this, we can hashtag protect a lioness. And also, really quickly, if you need help and you're in America and you're not sure who to talk to, please call the U.S. Suicide Prevention number, which is 988. Call them and talk to them if you need it, and they'll hook you up with other people that can help you more if you need that. If you're outside the US, please go to blog.opencounseling.com/suicide hyphen hotlines slash. And they'll give you a website with all the other countries out there with websites and numbers that you can click on and call if you need it. So please reach out to them if you need help. I love you lot a lot. So until next time, Wolf out.